What's going on, guys? Bearded Liberty coming at you from the Armory tonight with a live podcast on YouTube. I think this is the first one we've done yet. Got some good guests in the house tonight. We've got Yankee and Kentucky Windage. I'm going to go ahead and bring them up on the screen and get these guys in here. Let me get them unmuted. What's going on, guys?
Yo.
Howdy.
How's everybody's Christmas? How was everybody's Christmas?
Oh, it was great.
Pretty good. Eventful early in the morning, apparently.
Awesome. So we got some good content to talk about tonight. There's been a lot going on since Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. We're going to talk about the Nashville bombing a little bit and then just get our takes on what's next for 2021 because I've got plenty of good ideas. How about y'all?
Oh, yeah, we got quite a lot. Big plans.
Cool. So video and audio good for all you guys? Y'all seeing me all right?
Yep.
Sounds good. Well.
I hear y'all loud and clear. There's Mama Boog in the comments already. What's up, Mama Boog?
Hey, Mama.
Hey.
So, guys, y'all have had some eventful stuff happen here lately. We won't go into it. Y'all been traveling a little bit.
Yeah, doing a fair bit of running around the country.
Yep. Well, that's good. I'm glad things are going well for y'all. I wanted to hit on the Nashville bombing today and just kind of get y'all's take on where y'all were at and why you think that Christmas Day and kind of the timing of what went on, how early it was, and what you guys, thought about that with obviously the warning shots and the recording that was being played. What's y'all's take? Why do y'all think it occurred that way?
I mean, Yankee, you can go ahead first, and then I'll.
All right, I'll kick in. Well, Christmas Day being so early is fairly significant. It's a family time where everyone's kind of gathered, but nobody's actually out on the streets. It's probably about the least amount of people you could get caught up in a blast. Plus, with the supposed PA system blast warning people to evacuate the area, then with the phone call that the shots were fired in the area to potentially kind of, let's say, bring police officers in. Plus, when the actual V-bed exploded right after the bomb squad was called in. Location, I think it's probably about 500 meters or so from the state capitol where it exploded, the AT&T building.
Yeah, it is. And obviously, that might have been kind of a warning call, but I've said it in a couple chats. The national capitol sits up on a hill that's way up there. So 500 meters with that sitting up on a hill is like 2 miles away.
Especially with how the explosive itself actually detonated, with a big fireball rather than actual structural damage or shrapnel being put out.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, like the first thing is obviously whoever did this was not going for a mass casualty incident. Like he was not out to actually take lives. At first I thought, oh, well, this is a salvo of something to come. But like, I mean, this guy effectively took out cell, like anyone who has AT&T, he took out cell communications for a fair chunk of the southeastern United States. He grounded planes at an international major airport for 12 hours. So whether the stories coming out in the media, like I'm sure everyone by now has seen that this was apparently some 60-something-year-old, boomer, funny play on words there, but
I got it, bud. Don't worry.
Here we are laughing like the mayor of fucking Nashville.
Yeah, well, so many people hate that motherfucker. When Big and Rich are suing you for how shitty of a mayor you are, you've done fucked up when you have Big and fucking Rich suing you for it.
Yeah. Guess explosions don't reach you high up in your ivory tower, huh?
And then they walk in the road and pass out $100 bills.
But yeah, so there's so much stuff. Like I said, everything's new coming out. Like I'm one of the people that I never really trust the media, but some of the other stuff that we're going to touch on later, like I also don't see some of that stuff, being plausible. Now, I also don't think it was simply just a 5G thing like they're reporting. I know that there's some people that are, let's face it, there are some people that are that fucking crazy. Like there are some people that are just
a whole bunch of people used to take pot shots at 5G towers, destroying them.
yeah, exactly. Hell, when the coronavirus thing started, people were burning them down in England. So I feel like the first initial reactions is I'm pretty sure we all knew what we thought was happening.
Yeah, we thought it was a escalation in, let's say, some of the political violence that's been going on by one side or the other in this, which I thought was fair. It was a fair assumption.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody putting out a warning message.
Right, and if it was a warning message, I'm pretty sure we'd have had somebody sign up to admit to doing it by now,
or at least a note or something like that, more than just
somebody would have claimed it by now. I've got my own suspicions that it might have been something to see what response times and stuff like that were. You go back to Eric Rudolph when he was bombing abortion clinics and stuff like that. In the beginning, they thought that the way he was placing the bombs, the way he was giving, warnings and putting them where they could be seen, that, he was just going after the building and not after individuals. And then you come to find out later that he was checking response times so he could have a secondary charge to take out ATF and FBI and local police force when they responded. He was setting them 10 to 15 minutes after the initial blast. To say that somebody else did this and it wasn't who they're claiming it was, and who they're claiming it was is either dead or captured at this point. They did get some good intel, or they shared some good intel with other groups at this point. So that's the scary part of it.
Yeah.
Obviously, the FBI somehow were almost the first responders after the blast. They were there in a quickness, and that never happens.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it usually takes quite a bit to call the feds in, especially after a bombing like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, on Christmas, but yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So that already just kind of smells to me.
Awfully quick response times, huh?
Quick response, quick
investigation. Yeah, they already have a lot of the data out there.
They named the subject Anthony Warner. I was trying to think of his Anthony Quinn Warner. For some of you conspiracy theorists out there, I was talking about it in a chat earlier and got made fun of. I wasn't being serious about it, but QAnon Warn. You can spell that out of Anthony Quinn Warner. So for you conspiracy theorists out there, was that really his name, or is that just the myth behind it? We'll touch on that here in a little bit too. And like we said, they found the suspect quick. So I want to hear y'all's take on that, and then we'll go into the next section.
Well, I mean, having some fair experience with forensic equipment and stuff like that, it seems really quick that they managed to find a suspect from remains and camera footage and the rest of that, especially, the day after Christmas. It could be the fact that it's a higher profile case than what happened, but already having, the feds and everyone else kind of on it, seems really quick to already finger somebody for the event.
Yeah, and the thing is with the DNA results, I know a lot of people that have been on Maury living here in East Tennessee. It usually takes 3 to 4 weeks to get the DNA results back. So,
I mean, the FBI crime lab is one of the best in the entire world, pretty much. But they must pull some miracles over there in order to have that back real quick.
I mean, to be fair, if someone was going to be able to do it, it would be them, because and I'm not trying to give them more credit than they're due, but if someone is going to be able to, over the course of 24 hours, be able to pull actual DNA evidence, the feds can do some fucking magic when they the federal government can actually get shit done when they want to. It's usually they don't want to.
Right. I don't doubt that the systems aren't in place to do that. It's just, it's everything together. Already had a name before they did the DNA, and then DNA came back quick, and they've already been to this guy's house and figured out that his RV wasn't there. I've seen different photos of the RV. I've saved a bunch of them because we know how things happen in the situation. Pictures on the internet start disappearing. Yeah. But to me, decals, logos were in different spots, and before people jump in and say it was opposite sides of the vehicle, I've gotten pictures of both sides of the vehicle. Pinstripes were different. At the top, there was another set. There was an awning on one of them. There wasn't an awning on the other. And I know those pictures were a year apart because it was Google Images or whatever, or Google Maps. But
Street View, yeah.
The chances of changing a pinstripe, changing the lettering, and taking an awning off within a year is just odd, unless somebody had rehabbed that whole camper. And obviously that camper wasn't one that somebody would be real intent on rehabbing.
Yeah. Well, technically they rehabbed it.
Yeah, they did.
At least collected on the insurance for it, huh?
I don't know if Allstate covers that. I don't know if you're in good hands with that one.
I'm gonna have to check my policy with that
one. And I think there's some talk that Anthony Warner gifted his home away a couple months ago. Did y'all see anything about that?
No, I haven't heard a single thing about that yet.
So the house that they went to, where the Google Images showed the camper being and everything. Some people did some research, and a few months ago he did I can't think of what they called it, but he transferred the deed to someone as a gift and took it out of his name.
I heard it was like a woman half his age, and in my head all I'm like is, you fucking simp.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a woman. I think she was in her late 30s, early 40s.
I don't know what she looks like.
So yeah, that was a little strange. She wasn't from Zimbabwe or anything like that, and like an Instagram contact on his phone, from what I've heard.
Oh, I know a prince from out that way.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had a few on Bearded Liberty's Instagram. One gift cards.
I don't know if that ever works out. I could definitely use I
could use some money in a Prince to throw around, right? A couple $1 million.
Rhodesia. Yeah. So, and a lot of this has the abortion clinic bombings and the Olympic bombings and all that Richard Jewell kind of stuff going on. And obviously, Anthony Warner, they've got him already. He's dead, supposedly. They've assured the public that he worked alone and there were no other threats. They did the same thing with Richard Jewell. Oh, it was Richard Jewell. He didn't have anybody working with him. And then, obviously he gets caught by the news media out there running in the streets trying to prove that he wasn't able to make it from point A to point B in that time. And then they come up with, well, he didn't work alone, after they'd already said that there weren't any other threats. So I think it's a little early for them to be saying there were no other threats, especially with some of the conspiracy stuff that's coming out, because obviously QAnon is a huge group. It's not a group that any of us associate ourselves with, other than to meme about. But they are a large group. I mean, I deal with customers on a daily basis, and I've got customers that wholeheartedly believe in it, that seriously think that JFK is still alive. Well,
and see that with the QAnon thing, I can see where, like, at some point something like this, and all it is going to do is further the ones in that group that are not as attached to reality as, I mean, a bunch of us are, we like to have fun, but shit, like it's some of these people that are so detached from reality, something like this is only going to push them further into more actions like this, if that intends to be the case.
Exactly. And I my whole stance, and I'm pretty sure you guys are with me on this. Y'all have been involved in some nonviolent, non-aggressive 2A rallies and stuff like that in the past. Y'all have taken a hard stance on where you stand, as I have too. But I think we all seem to agree, and most of the people, or I'm going to say all the people that we stay in contact on a regular basis, that violence is not the answer right now. We're not at that point. We haven't exhausted every peaceful option that we have out there. Cool. And a bombing, although it didn't kill anyone, is still not a peaceful option.
No, it's an escalation from what we've seen, from regular street violence to the political executions to now big explosions. Yeah.
Now, like you were saying earlier, this is the next. Like, I'm not going to say logical. It's not the next logical step, but this is the next step that is logically going to occur
in this kind of conflict, right? Same thing with the troubles in Ireland. It started with a couple bombings as warnings, and then eventually ended up into pretty much open warfare in the street.
Pinpointed assassinations.
Mm-hmm.
This is looking at
inspirational quote circling around,
war, and this is going to be the Troubles.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. What did the IRA say to Margaret Thatcher? We only have to be lucky once. You have to be lucky every single time. I think it's
Yeah.
floating around as an inspirational quote now. So
Well, I was talking with Mark the other night, and I said, the bombs, I swear, I hope this doesn't become a regular thing, but the bombs don't scare me as much because that is a targeted spot. It doesn't have a whole lot of outreach with the damage that it does. The bombs don't scare me as much as armed people in the streets waging war on communities and stuff like that. Bombs are scary. They take out a lot of people at once, but I'm more worried about armed revolt. That's what I'm.
I would rather have open conflict in the streets, because what happens is I like to go out and imbibe and, go have brunch and everything. Last thing I want to do when I'm having French toast and mimosas is have a fucking car bomb go off next to me. And, oh shit, I can plan and I can take cover if there's armed people in the streets. If a fucking Honda Civic fucking explodes while I'm drinking mimosas, there ain't shit I can do about that.
Well, I think where my mindset comes in on that, and see if you agree with me, is that 1 out of 100 vigilantes, extremists, 1 out of 100 might have the nutsack to build a bomb. 90 out of 100 have the nutsack to arm themselves up and walk the streets with guns. And when that first shot is fired, all 90 of them, or 90% of the 90, are going to fire back. That's the scary part about that, is the
what happened in all the autonomous zones where, community policing took effect and everybody just started, popping shots at everybody that had a problem with.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, hell, we saw in a bunch of the like, I'm not going to specifically say, the locations that we're, close to, but there was the civil unrest that was going on over this past summer, and it really wasn't that bad unless there were people just out there settling hood beefs like that. You were more likely to get caught up in the settling of some, fucking gangbanger fucking, street issue that they decided, oh, well, the cops ain't around right now. They're dealing with other shit. So let's settle our fucking beef.
Yeah. What do you guys, I mean, they found the perpetrator very quickly. But yet they haven't given a motive for the location he picked or just his motive in general. So, well, what did they use the 5G as his motive?
From what I understand, apparently his father worked for AT&T and apparently, it's documented that his father did die of brain cancer. But he was it was 7 years ago or some shit. It's been a minute since. But so apparently he does have some connection to AT&T on a family level. But once again, this is, and I never want to be the one who's like, oh no, we should trust the news media. But also, I don't want to go the complete opposite way and exclusively rely on,
Well, yeah, and I'm sure they could link any one of the three of us to AT&T at some point, whether we had cell service through them, or a distant family member that worked for them, or a family member that was in a car accident that an AT&T truck caused the accident. There's always the link.
It's a big company.
Yeah.
There's always the 3 degrees of separation.
Yeah. Right. What do you think, Yankee? You think they've nailed the motive down right, or you think it's still up in the air?
I don't know. It's still up in the air of where he would pick the target and why. If he was directly trying to damage AT&T, you don't think he could have packed that camper with a lot more explosive or shaped it a little bit better? I mean, any amateur can build, a V-bed. Any amateur can build an IED. I mean, Look at the last, 2 decades. They have pretty competent explosives, even with nothing. Or if you want to look at Timothy McVeigh, where he packed a similar size vehicle-ish with a lot more explosive. He could have done a lot of damage if he wanted to. This doesn't really seem to be the case. More like a message, I guess.
Well, and I think one of y'all the other night debunked something that I was looking into. We're involved with a lot of people in the community that have backgrounds and stuff that I'm not well versed on, but I had a picture of some of the damage, and the building had exploded instead of imploded. And I was wondering why all the debris had fallen out of the building instead of into the building, if the explosion would have forced it in. And I think one of you guys brought up the point that the wall falls out. So that kind of debunked that, because I was thinking, yeah, no shit. I saw this, like, maybe I'm gonna fall down this rabbit hole and go with this conspiracy theory here that the bomb was inside. I think we've seen, chemtrails, obviously, that people were saying came off of a RPG or some kind of missile attack. I went back to my days of watching Breaking Bad, and before some of those explosions happened, there was always a chemical reaction that was, fuming before the bomb went off, or before the trailer blew up. So, I thought maybe it could be that. Y'all think that it could have possibly been a missile attack or a RPG or something like that?
No,
not from what we've
in
heard.
fact, one of our good friends was a combat engineer overseas. Afghanistan did tours and everything, and we was like, "Hey, what was this?" And he's like, "Oh, it's about 50 to 100 pounds of black powder, which goes up in a fireball, but it would also, char and weaken the outside structure of that building, which would then, the concussive blast would cause it to fall out. It's not going to necessarily blow in because it wasn't a concussive blast." Now, once again, I'm paraphrasing. I am not the,
Yeah.
I'm paraphrasing what our friend said, but he said it was a lot of show, but he said it could have been a lot worse. He said that looked like a simple thing. And think about, like, how many of us just have fucking jars of black powder for fucking, black powder like hunting and shit just sitting around.
Right.
What's easier to get a lot of? You can
I will say this, that 150 pounds of tannerite would have done a lot more damage than what that did.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So after the easily available materials, it could have been a lot bigger of an explosion, especially given the vehicle. I'm pretty sure you could have easily packed that into a subcompact car, like one of those smart cars, and had the same kind of effect with it. Not to mention an RV, you could pack several thousand pounds in there easily.
Now, have they pinned down whether the announcement was coming from the RV?
Apparently, it was coming from an intercom hooked up to the RV. Now, when they say that, I would, to be fair, it was probably a Bluetooth speaker. Let's be real. Like, with the rest of this wasn't some sophisticated fucking operation. This dude probably went to fucking Best Buy, got a Bluetooth speaker, and fucking was running shit off of his phone.
Yeah. They're making it out to be like this highly intelligent operation that was planned out, when really any average citizen could have done the exact same thing.
Yeah.
100% right.
And then, at first they were saying the warning shots were coming over the PA speaker. I saw a news conference today where they said they found shell casings. Obviously, when there's shell casings, there's going to be bullet holes somewhere. I just wonder if they found where those bullets went. Even if they just went up in the air, they landed somewhere.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's very quick to have all this information out.
And I agree. And I agree that it's quick to have this. It's so quick to have this information, and that's why I kind of leave some room for other stuff to come into play. But I think it was more someone was sending a message. And the easiest way that they can explain that away without setting off a chain reaction of other people that want to send a message, this is just,
so crazy, because nobody's really going to tack on to somebody who said, "Oh yeah, 5G towers are bad. Oh, it's whatever it is shooting out of there, it's making a bad thing for everyone."
You know how many cigarettes? The 5G thing is stupid because you know how many cigarettes I fucking smoke a day. I want fast internet. I want my Netflix to buffer. Give me 6G. I don't give a shit.
It probably does something negative, but not something that's really going to be prominent. Not something like it's shooting out cancer or AIDS or anything awful like that 100% of the time.
Yeah.
So if you see something crazy, nobody wants to follow it.
My problem is, if this was a message, where's the note explaining why? If it was Anthony Warner and he committed suicide during this bombing, where's his claim to fame of why he did it?
Probably on Facebook, if he was a boomer, I would imagine there.
All the Q people got kicked off of Facebook.
That is true. I mean, I'm not on Facebook anymore.
Check Parler. Check Parler. Everyone's on Parler now.
Yeah, all my homies are on Parler.
That's the other part that worries me about it is, I would much rather it been crazy Anthony Warner causing a stink over 5G towers because his dad got brain cancer. That's simple and easy, and that puts our minds at ease. The problem is there's nothing to prove that other than what they think happened. If this was a warning, what is to follow? How much worse does it get? When does it occur? What group is doing this? Obviously, there's plenty of groups out right now. I know what groups I think wouldn't do something like that, and I know groups that I think would do something like that. But
I think in the next 3 weeks, we're going to see an escalation of possibly more tactics like this. Once again, as much as I hate to see it, like the next 3 weeks is going to be very telling for where this is going, because with the inauguration and the challenges and everything coming up, these next 3 weeks are going to be crucial to what the future of our republic looks like.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, going back to what happened in Ireland during the Troubles, it's going to be the same thing. First, it's going to be a couple isolated bombings as warnings for sides to get the other. Then it's going to be actual targets against targets of opportunity, whether it be people or structures, and then it's probably going to be smaller escalations on the street. Armed factions of some political ideology against the other, just kind of going out and duking it out.
I mean, we're actually going the opposite way because we've already had that in some small scale. Like, and now we're getting the isolated,
Yep. I was talking about it ballooning up into, groups of, 10 to 12 people, squad size, shooting out in the streets and then disappearing again.
Yeah.
You already have certain people in power politically taking sides and protecting their favorites. So it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And as a libertarian leaning conservative, I just want to put that public service announcement out. Is me personally, that's not what I'm excited about happening. As fun as it sounds, going back to the cloth that this country was cut from and revolution and stuff like that. I've always said that revolution was well thought out. It was planned with all the right intentions, and every peaceful option was exhausted. And I think that I definitely want to push that out to my followers, and I'm sure you guys are on the same page with me. We don't want to see
100%. I mean, the founders tried for about a decade or so to have their grievances redressed, and it was literally the last step they had once the British government tried taking their weapons that they had stockpiled. That was the last straw at that point. Yeah. It was open conflict.
But then we go back to ballot box, jury box,
cartridge box. There we go.
Box.
Yeah.
Old W.B. Du Bois.
I wanted to touch on Nick Marlowe. He's in the comments over here, and I'm sorry everybody else is in the comments. I hadn't mentioned y'all. He said the Q people say it's something to do with Dominion voting systems.
Right. Apparently AT&T was some kind of data hub for Dominion or something like that. They had some kind of voting records, whether it was something to be investigated, being held for investigation or something else. I think that's what I've heard.
Well, I had people also say the same thing about the NSA, that it's it was an NSA hub and stuff. But would the NSA or Dominion ever put all of their data in one fucking location?
That's what I said the other night. They may have been a service provider for their connectivity, but I guarantee you that Dominion and the NSA all have connectivity with every carrier out there
over the entire world.
Storing their servers at the AT&T building. They're storing their servers off-site, underground, somewhere you ain't going to get to. It's just it's the way it works.
Something that you could do something a lot bigger and it ain't going to be affected. Because if you're putting something that important, you kind of decide to put it at a place that is not affected by shit like this.
Yeah.
That's kind of the entire point of having an underground massive data server farm.
Shouldn't be able to take out most of your information, but
you see in your spy movies where they hide things in plain sight. That doesn't happen in real life. They're not like, we're going to put it in Walmart because nobody would ever expect this. No, it's not going to happen. It's buried somewhere that you're not getting to it.
They're going to stick that shit underground at Quantico or Fort Knox. They're going to put it someplace like that.
All that,
Some place that they can legally say, hey, if you cross this fucking wire, we're going to open up on you with 50 cows.
Yeah. Yeah. No, not going to happen. What do you think about the mayor having his little laugh during his interview? You think that was just stress, or you think that he was just giggling about the whole situation?
I mean, that dude's such a fucking asshole. Like, it could be stress, but that dude's such a tool.
Honestly, I don't have a high opinion of the ivory tower elite. Mayor's probably being the bottom of the barrel on that one. I'm from New York, so I have a pretty fantastic mayor. If you were to say that, oh yeah, De Blasio. Oh yeah, I've got nothing but high praise for the man. Oh yeah,
eat at China. You can eat in Chinatown. Eat in Chinatown.
Yeah, right. That's all you can eat at. Nowhere else. Yeah, so no, I really don't think it was on accident. I think it was a bit of the mask slipping because he thinks that, oh yeah, he's better than everyone else. Oh, a little bombing interrupted your Christmas. So be it. Hire a private security team next time.
Yeah, fuck that fat chode looking motherfucker.
All of them. Yeah, all of them, from Blasio to Cuomo. Oh man, I could go on and on, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, Bill Lee's not said much about it. I think he spoke out once about it, but he's really kind of kept his mouth shut. I don't have much respect for him either.
Yeah, I saw that they tweeted out something, but yeah, that was about it.
It is. False flag, you think? Does anybody agree with it being a false flag? That's another topic that everybody's been hitting on.
It could be. I mean, I kind of thought that at first, whether it was an attack by some anti-government type as a big warning or a false flag. I mean, if most of the data stuff was true, you'd probably have some credence there, but I think that would be a lot more effective in their explosives. They wouldn't have something 100 pounds or so. They would destroy it completely.
Yeah, and they would have actually really hurt people, because whenever you bring up things that it'd be false flags. And once again, I'm not going to try to delve into some super hardcore conspiracy lean, but stuff that is usually called false flags. The Vegas shooting. Some of the school shootings or whatever. I'm not going to mention the names because I know that YouTube flags that shit hardcore. To my homie Alex Jones. There's always some actual fatalities. Like, if they were actually going to do that, they would want to sell it. And this doesn't sell it. And I'm a paranoid motherfucker. I'm a fairly paranoid individual. And even I'm like, no, this seems like this conceivably could have just been some crazy old fucking boomer.
Yeah. Yeah, because if they were going to tie it to a false flag, then they would have tied Anthony Warner to a militia group or QAnon or Antifa, and they would have said that he'd been doing paramilitary training in his area, and they found a cache of
something to further whatever kind of narrative they had.
30-round magazines and green tip armor piercing ammo. I mean, there would have been something stupid to go along with.
100%. It would have done something to further whatever kind of narrative they're pushing at the time of who's good, who's bad, just so they could get warrants probably, or have a little bit of peace of mind with the general public that they're doing the right thing, that they're the good guys.
Yeah.
Rather than
if the dude would have had an extensive Hawaiian shirt collection, I'd be like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
Be like, I can see a motive here. But
yeah, conveniently the corpse was found with a perfectly intact Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah.
What y'all think's next for 2021? What we got coming up?
Oh man, am I excited!
Round 2, fight.
Let's do it.
And I don't mean to be an ass about this, but I was telling me and Mark were talking about this the other night. This has been a bad year for some people, but predominantly everyone I know in my area and everyone that I have contact with that are from all over the United States. This has been a really good year for me and some of the guys and girls that I know. Got a new job, making good money. TBL did great. I've signed up with a training company, doing stuff with them. Started Bearded Liberty. I've not had a whole lot of negative happen in 2020, so I can't speak on it from somebody who's dealing with a lot of bad stuff, but 2020's been good for me. I hope 2021 is just as good.
I mean, well, like hell, we were actually talking the other day about this. Like, so we have our going great and only getting better. We a bunch of our tribe from like has moved even from across the country. Now everyone's living and working within in a good area near each other. We travel, we see our friends. Like, you have to, it's what you make it. So go build your tribe.
Yeah.
Go. There's life beyond the internet connection. I know sometimes it might be hard because people have been deplatformed, and you don't want to have certain conversations. No, use it as a springboard and go out and actually meet people, do stuff with your people.
Yeah.
2020 has been great for me. I'm with you. Like,
for the most part, I mean, I've had my ups and downs, but I think I've adapted well. I think I'm doing pretty great in 2020. If 2021 keeps going pretty well for me, I'll be happy. But I think that's because we've kind of seen this coming for a long time and have time to process, adapt, and prepare for it, whereas everyone else just kind of hasn't seen it coming, really.
But say a world-ending scenario for other people was like 2020 was a slap in the face. For the rest of us that have been looking and preparing for a world-ending scenario, it's like, oh, okay, this wasn't even that bad.
Oh, this is fairly mild. I mean, I remember when I was riding the ambulances back in New York when I thought it was the end of days. I had a decon tent set up, hazmat suit, all that stuff. But then it ended up being nothing for the most part. I moved, got a new job, fell in with all my friends. So it's been on the up and up, honestly.
Yep. And, that's why I started Bearded Liberty is, everybody's looking at 2020 from an outside looking in, listening to what mainstream media is saying. And I wanted to give that inside looking out perspective to show everybody and bring different guests from different walks of life on and show that everything's not negative right now. Things are good. We're learning a lot, bringing a lot of people in and educating them on things that they never thought that they would want to hear about or learn about. And that's what I've always said. Me and Mark and a lot of the guys have always said we got to appeal to the American people, and we never could do it. But mainstream media has really given us a step up on that, and pretty much sent them to us instead of us having to go out and look for people. Everybody's flocking towards conversations like this now, wanting to learn how to be better prepared.
The word Civil War trending on Twitter, and
we were talking about
that. Like normies openly talking about preparing and stocking up. Like people we know, like people that would have never been a part of this conversation a year ago, are now asking for advice. They're learning. They're taking classes. They're asking us to go out and teach them to shoot. And I'm always more than happy to.
Exactly. I think it opened up a lot of people's eyes of what they needed to do and where they lacked in. For sure, that the system isn't always going to be there to support them. I remember having those conversations with people who are fairly optimistic or rather naive that nothing bad could ever happen, and now look at them; they're doing the same thing I am. Preparing, stockpiling, all that stuff. So I'm just happy to have had an earlier start on it, along with most of my friends. So.
Well, the only thing that sucks is we thought we had a head start on it and thought we were doing good with our gear, and then you got these normies coming in that's got more money than us, and now we're like, oh.
I'll suck your dick for 9mm Hornady critical.
I remember when this whole started. I misjudged what the apocalypse currency would be. I failed to stock up a lot on bullets or toilet paper. I've got a shit ton of bottle caps going. Well, man, fuck me, wrong currency.
Yeah. It's
been a great. Go to the 3 seashells.
3 seashells. I'm good on that.
I think 2021 is going to be a lot more negative. When this election shit's over with, one side or the other is going to not accept it, whichever way it goes. And I think we know which way it's going.
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt. We know where it's going. It's just, do we have a shit ton of Anthony Warners, or do we have some guys like us that really think things out before we act?
It's definitely a mix.
Yeah. And I want to read as many of those Anthony Warners as I can.
Well,
don't do it.
Harder and harder to reach out to those types. They keep censoring us, and I think me and Kentucky have talked to a few different people and walked them back from that edge a few times. I know a lot of people in the old Patriot Wave Discord have done that with a whole bunch of things. Like, hey man, it's not that bad. Hey, let's hold off on that. Let's talk about this.
Yeah, well, I'd say that is not the move. That is not the time.
Mm-hmm.
When they shut me and Mark down on TBL, they shut our connection down to 80,000 people.
Right.
That was 80,000 people that took advice from level-headed guys like you guys and like me and Mark that really think things out and don't react quickly. We put a plan into place before we do anything, and they cut that whole lifeline off because I know I can't count on my hands and feet how many people that me and Mark talked down off of a ledge, whether or not they were just talking shit or they were really going to follow through with their actions. We talked them down and never saw anything come of it. And it does. It sucks. They shut that off, and I think they shut that off so we couldn't do things like that. At first, I thought, well, y'all are the biggest idiots for shutting us down because now y'all lost all connection with us and can't even see what's going on in our community. But then I got to thinking, I was like, they shut this down so we can't talk people down. They want us to be violent.
To ramp up like that. They want to isolate us, cause a few of us to be extremists that way they can keep pushing their thing. They don't want any organization and anybody thinking things through.
Yeah.
God forbid we actually think things
that's
through
one
organized.
theory that I will go full send and agree with because that does further a narrative. They do have a cause and effect for that because look what happened with the during the summer of riots and everything. You found some people that were in some of those groups that were getting advice from level-headed individuals like us, and then as soon as they cut all that off, they go and start doing stupid shit out there while everything's fucking burning around them. They start fucking shooting at goddamn police stations.
Or trying to sell suppressors to Hamas and the rest of that shit.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Ridiculous.
Don't sell suppressors to Hamas. It's a bad thing.
No. Don't sell suppressors to any terrorist group. Come on. We're Americans. We'll sort our own shit out. Then we'll deal with y'all.
And they look at us, they're like, oh, they're just a bunch of meme lords and this, that, and the other. What they don't realize is that, they'd be fucked if guys like us, we are banded together, but we are exhausting every peaceful option. We're not.
When it comes down to it, I want to be able to tell them an attempt was made.
Exactly. Yeah. Hey, listen, we tried every single option. We tried to compromise. None of y'all would want to take it. None of y'all would want to hear us out. So when we're up against the wall, we're not going to fold. We're going to push back now. And that's honestly where we're kind of getting to.
Yeah. And these people out here that are, have you seen the new movement that's come out, the free men movement, the flannel stripe guys?
No, I haven't. I mean, I thought the flannel stripe was the quote winter uniform for a long time now, but all right. Sure, normies adopt that shit too.
Here's the group out now, the free men, and they claim that the hibiscus is out, the free men are in. We're willing to take a stand and do something while these meme lords sit back and don't do anything. I'm glad not to be associated with that.
You sure? You're wearing a pretty nice flannel right now, man.
I mean, it's still my winter. Magnum PI wore the hibiscus shirt, but
I mean, I was wearing Hawaiian shirts well before it had any kind of grander meaning. So
So
these guys sound like a model movement, an imitation of the real thing.
Exactly.
They are. That's what it is. We're gonna branch off of this, and they're trying to capitalize on it. And I love capitalism. Me and Mark did pretty well. I wouldn't have met you guys if it wasn't for TBL. We did all right. We supplemented our income for a little while, and we weren't draining off of an idea to capitalize on it, but we saw that it was there and we could, so we ran with it. I think I remember when, and I wouldn't take it back.
Yeah. I noticed someone in the chat is asking if we commented on the ATF site about the brace deal. And I know that I went and definitely left a message, on my government name type stuff. But fuck the ATF. Don't touch my goddamn pistol brace. The fact that I have to have a pistol brace in itself is that you've already fucked me out of. Don't try that shit.
Yeah, it's a fucking travesty.
I think the ATF is going to become a moot point in 2021. If we continue to have these election discussions, whoever gets into office, I think we know who it's going to be. I've said that over. I just don't want to say it because I don't want to speak things into existence.
Understandable. Hey, you still got to cross the fingers, till it's said and done.
At that point, the pistol brace is going to be the least of our worries.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, pistol brace is a big deal right now for the next 20 days, because we still kind of have some rights. But in the next, I'd say next 2 years, it's like Biden came out today talking about immigration. Did y'all see that?
No, I didn't.
He's been really pushing for opening up the borders and all that, and that's how he got a lot of the constituents to vote for him. And then he comes out today and says that, look, guys, we're going to have to keep the borders closed down. We can't have 2 million illegal immigrants coming into the country off the rip. We're going to have to slow walk this in. We're going to do it
of course
right now. And what he's saying is, we're not going to do it over the next 4 years or the next 8 years if I make it in. We're going to set everything up for the next person to do it. But yeah, I really don't like illegal immigrants, but I had to say it. You guys vote for me.
Yeah. Well, what was it? Like Black Lives Matter, it was like, oh, congratulations, Joe Biden. And then now they have a running counter on Twitter about how many days it's been since he got elected that he's refused to take a fucking meeting with them.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's like he really didn't give a fuck about you the entire time. Whoever could have saw that coming.
Everyone who wears a D pretty much plays identity politics to get in. Everybody from the establishment to the progressives, which there's a minor civil war going on inside that party right now between them. The establishment and the progressives. So it's interesting to see how that goes.
To be fair, that's probably about if once again, I'm not going to say it, but if that person does take office, that is what's about to start happening. You already see it with Representative Thomas Massey. You see it with Matt Bates or Matt Gaetz out of Florida.
I know you meant to say Gates. Come on.
Yeah, you're going to see a separation from the more liberty-minded side of the conservative party and the fucking rhinos, the Mitch McConnells, the Rick Scotts. And personally, it's about damn time, because I might have stayed a fucking actual registered R Republican if that would have happened years ago.
Yeah.
If we would have had more Rand Pauls and Thomas Masseys and Matt Gaetz is, standing up and running and succeeding. I mean, hell, it would have. I feel like the Republican Party would have been better for it. And now
you were giving out congratulations, congratulations to BLM. Honestly, in my opinion, what was the event that kicked BLM off years ago? What was the name of that town?
Ferguson.
BLM took a hard stance on Ferguson, and I think they rightly so did a good job in Ferguson taking a stance. Congratulations to them in 2020 for ruining their whole movement, for aligning with people like the NFAC. Obviously that group has dwindled out. They really made a hard run at it and looked like idiots.
Friendly fire isn't so friendly. So
middle-aged liberal white people take over their movement. To my black and African friends out there, guys, I love y'all to death, but y'all got to distance yourself from that movement, because it's becoming Antifa. You let Antifa take it over, and I will always have the stance of fuck Antifa. Antifa is no good. I'll never back them. I don't want them to back me. Whether we have the same enemy or not, I don't need your help. We don't need your help. Go get fucked.
Maj Toure from Black Guns Matter. I was actually watching some interviews with him earlier, and he was saying, I don't get the point of this Black Lives Matter thing. He's like, I know my life matters. He said, you know what'll actually enforce the fact that my life matters? This black fucking gun that I have.
Yeah.
And I was talking with people. He was like, the hands up, don't shoot. He's like, that's submissive. That's why the hell y'all keep getting your heads blown off.
Yeah.
And so voices like that are actually, packed full of change and wisdom and common fucking sense, and they're not fucking riddled with goddamn commies, are getting pushed under and getting thrown under the bus by liberal media. And meanwhile, like Maj Toure and his group, anytime they were out marching in Richmond with us or any of these other rallies, they never tried to get us to burn shit down or, or cause any fucking trouble. So obviously it's not the people, it's whoever the fuck is leading this fucking group.
Yeah.
Right. So definitely infiltrated by the, left-wing Marxist types.
Yeah.
Those are the ones who are voting. I mean, I think even the Panthers, they're all like, you can't stop the revolution and all that stuff,
Some of the chants are pretty. Some of the chants.
Well, hold on. I was talking about that one, but yeah, some of the chants are pretty fire that they have going on. And like, yeah, I'll support them in their anti-government kind of action. We're like, yeah, police brutality. Okay, yeah, sure, you guys have a point and a fair one. I don't like seeing authoritarianism of any stripe, but you're not going to replace it with yours. I don't want to deal with any of that Marxist bullshit, especially when you're burning down, private businesses, mom and pop stuff. Keep it to the police
library,
courthouses if you need to. Yeah, right.
Yeah. And shout out and congratulations to the militias that have made themselves look like cucks. Y'all haven't done shit other than put your voice out there, be known that you are participating in paramilitary training, which the Constitution does not cover. And you're making yourself a target, and you're making every middle-aged white man in America that owns a gun a target now, because y'all are announcing your fucking dumb shit you're doing that's not accomplishing anything.
Well, yeah, that's mostly the 3%ers and stuff like that. I think, I was one for quite a while till they kicked me out after Richmond. They didn't like the idea of me marching around with a plate carrier and rifle, despite being able to. So that was a fun time.
He was way prettier than them. That's why
2021 is going to be the year of the gray man.
100%. I mean, I think everybody from the former movement has kind of fallen with their own tribe. They're not on Facebook anymore, at least anybody who's really about it. They're not on social media. They're not broadcasting what they're really doing. So
no, that's great. Stimulus checks, what are you guys going to spend yours on, whether it be 600 or 2,000?
If it's 600, I'm looking at a new SIG 320C. That's what's going to come my way. Holsters, all the accoutrements, light, hollow, all that.
I'm either looking at a SIG or I don't know. I'm such a Tupperware fanboy. It's going to be hard going to a different.
It's okay. I'll hold your hand the entire way. It'll be okay.
I got something else you can hold.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to put mine into. As you guys know, I'm partnered up, opening up a new range. So mine will probably go to that. I have made some decisions with, the local guys and on a personal level that, and it's not me saying this to get any clout or anything like that, but, I'm at the point now that $600 isn't shit to me. It is. I mean, it's $600. That's a lot of money. But for somebody that's struggling for a one-time payment of $600 when you owe $6,000 in rent, that doesn't do anything. Pretty sure any of the three of us and most of the people over in the comments listening right now, if it really came down to it, we could sponsor an American family for a month, every month of the year, and give them $600. It might change our way of life a little bit, but we wouldn't be struggling the way they are. So, like I said, I'm not trying to gain any clout, but if if anybody's out there and knows a family that's struggling real bad, they could use some assistance, I'd be willing to give my $600 away. I'd be willing to give my $2,000 away. I'd split that between two families or whatever somebody needs. So always feel free to reach out to me if you know somebody that needs help. I don't have a lot, but I'm willing to give what I do have away. But if not, I'm buying guns.
Bless up, family.
Fair buy these times,
Yeah, like I said, Hornady critical duty is real expensive now. I'm pretty sure the ammo in my gun and my spare mag is actually possibly worth more than my gun now.
Oh, you got to switch over to them gold dots, man.
The Spears, I love my Hornady. I mean, I love Spear, but I can't give up my Hornady.
I'd say,
I've got a bunch of Hornady too. I don't know, for some reason I've watched enough reviews. I think the Gold Dot's my go-to at this point.
I mean, Homeland police departments can't be wrong. You know, you've seen their numbers.
Yeah, pretty good at killing people.
And dogs.
And dogs.
And
You're
dogs.
100% right.
Oh, if y'all watch, this is like a 6-year-old video, but did y'all watch that video of the guy that the movie Lone Survivor was written after, the one guy that survived? Did you see that video where
Marcus Luttrell?
Yeah. I listened to that 911 tape the other night. That was pretty awesome. Not awesome that his dog got shot, but awesome that he chased him at 120 miles an hour down back roads through a rural town.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're coming up on an hour, man. Y'all got anything else you want to add? I've got a couple things I'm going to add here at the end.
I mean, other than you really can't silence, you really can't censor us. I mean, we're going to still be around finding ways to, kind of connect with, our own people. We keep getting squashed, but we keep coming back even stronger and stronger. And, shout out to the people who keep following us every single time.
Yep.
On that, hope everybody had a happy holiday, and I hope 2021 suits you a lot better than 2020 might have.
Yeah. Got anything, Kentucky?
Bless up, fam. Bless up.
All right, guys. So if y'all hadn't figured out what you're going to spend your stimulus check on, make sure you go over to LRRAT.com. That's Little River Range and Training.com. Check out the course schedule. Click on the register button. We got the new courses up for the next 3 months. Some damn good training. I think you guys are going to come down and participate in some of it.
Oh yeah, we're
going to be down there. We're going to be down there in a couple weeks, actually.
Oh yeah, keep out an eye for March 27th. That's our. We're going to be running classes before March 27th, but our soft opening for the public range up there is going to be March 27th. Going to have a lot of good people up there, a lot of good booths. Got some local booths coming. Got some national booths coming. LuckyGunner.com's coming and setting up a booth. 511 Tactical. I think Fury Holsters, Southern Precision, and Tooling's coming that makes a couple of really badass muzzle brakes and some automatic rifles. And gonna have a concert up there. Got a couple of big names that are in the mix right now. We hadn't nailed one down yet, but we are gonna have a decent concert. And some surprise booths up there that probably everybody wouldn't be expecting to come, but some names that y'all probably seen on YouTube here lately and for the past few years. So, like I said, make sure to check out LRRAT.com and sign up for a class, guys, and come meet us in real life.
Yep. Yeah, we'll definitely be out there for that.
100%. We'll be there for the opening. You know us. We'll bring the beer.
Hell yeah. Beer to Liberty, Kentucky Wantage, and Yankee, we're going to sign out tonight. Hope everybody had a good holidays, and as always, God bless America.